Faith is a mirror image of Buffy, a possibility if circumstances were different, so by examining her character and death, we also see elements of what it means to be a Slayer. Faith was one of the better parts of last season, and that remains true here, with a pair of episodes that are the third best in the season, after Hush and Restless. It's certainly telling that by pushing the main plot of the season to the back burner, the quality goes up. The episode begins with a dream sequence, very similar to Buffy's from last season, but from Faith's perspective. Slayers always have prophetic dreams, and this continues that trend. The pair discuss the coming of Buffy's little sister, who will arrive in the premiere of next season. It's then revealed that Buffy stabbed Faith with her own dagger, which becomes a recurring theme in all of Faith's dreams. It's as the old saying goes, no one is the villain in their own story. In Faith's world, Buffy is an emotionless monster, a Terminator, whose sole job is to find and kill her. There is a rule of threes with dreams, and Faith's second dream highlights her relationship with the mayor. Here she's innocent and wears pastel colors. They chat about the weather, and he casually removes a snake from their blanket, a reference to his demon form. Buffy then shows up and slits his throat, before coming after Faith, just as she defeated the mayor at the school. In the final dream, Faith is running from the Buffy in a cemetery they have both patrolled so frequently. Faith trips and falls into a grave, and Buffy jumps in after. They have an off-screen fight, and Faith emerges victorious, dragging herself out of the grave in a spout of torrential rain and a shot that references the Shawshank Redemption. It also seems like foreshadowing for Buffy's similar journey at the beginning of Season 6. She then wakes up, having conquered her dream Buffy. This all occurs about a third of the way through the episode, but there are a few important scenes in the meantime. We see the Scoobies still in Xander's basement, planning their next move. Willow's outfit is very unique here, although the shirt she wears later might have it beat. Buffy wants to stage a frontal assault in order to get Riley out, but he pulls rank and walks out on his own 2 feet. There's also a gnarly scene in the woods, while Buffy is searching for evidence of Adam. Generally, the effects on Buffy range from acceptable if a bit cheesy to bad, but this is one that is truly creepy, as the vivisected demon is tied to a tree, its flayed skin a deep red, while its insides are a sickly yellow. We get a decent close-up of it as well, and it's fairly surprising they got away with that level of violence. Faith's first real act upon waking up is to commit her own bit, knocking someone unconscious and taking her clothes. Because of this, various characters including Buffy and Willow refer to her as psychotic, but that's a far cry from the truth. Psychopathy is defined by a lack of empathy or remorse. Certainly, part of the mask that Faith puts up is that she doesn't care, that when she killed the mayor's assistant it was no big deal, but her actions reveal the opposite. Both Buffy and Faith were traumatized by that event. However, Buffy is able to deal with it using healthy coping mechanisms. First she shares it with Willow, and they have a long talk about it. She then goes to an authority figure in Giles, and although Faith beats her there, the point is that she had support systems in place to help her understand what happened, and to learn and grow. Faith, on the other hand, is defined by what's lacking, both friends and family. She feels the pain too deeply, and the only option becomes complete repression, shutting it down so she can function. The violence that Faith undertakes is not random or to cause undue pain. There is always a goal in mind, a reason behind what she does, and while she certainly harms innocents in that path, it's a side effect rather than a goal. There's a nice bit of narration that occurs while Faith is leaving the hospital, arms folded in a defensive position. Buffy says, "You know, I never stopped thinking about you." She's talking to Riley after his brief stint in the hospital, but it also applies to Faith, both in her views on Buffy and the mayor. Her life was put on hold, so she didn't get over the trauma that happened to her. This episode is definitely slower paced than some others, and part of that was after they finished filming, they realized they were 8 minutes short, so went back and wrote some small scenes for Faith to do. That's why she spends about 10 minutes walking around Sunnydale. This works well in showing her mental state, however, how lost and confused she is, and it helps explain her violent actions later. Buffy displays a lot of empathy when she initially learns about Faith escaping, as well as some false hope that she doesn't remember what happened. This is such a contrast from Sanctuary, the Angel episode that offers the end of this arc. Buffy also has to explain who Faith is to Riley, and she mentions editing out some of the Angel parts, which is another reason her relationship with Riley doesn't work. She wants a nice, easy boyfriend, but refuses to tell him the whole truth. Willow chides her about it, and Buffy says that it's too long of a story to tell. Riley later mentions he's aware of her lying to him, but just moved past it. Buffy lies to him again, and it's clear they're simply on very different emotional levels. Faith, on the other hand, has no need for lies or hiding, and shows up in broad daylight. There's a very well done and tense scene where the pair of Slayers bounce off each other, and violence seems just on the cusp of exploding. The cops arrive, and after a few blows, Faith flees. Next is a scene dealing with the various characters' reactions to Faith being back. This includes the revelation that the nurse watching over her was working for the Watchers Council. We haven't seen anything from them since Buffy quit, so it's actually a nice surprise to see them again. While Faith is walking down dark alleys, she's accosted by a demon bearing presents. Among them is a tape from the mayor, which is a fun and welcome surprise. It's a reminder of just how great an actor he is, which really highlights the difference between big bads. Adam just can't cut it. His performance even makes Faith smile, and I believe it's the only genuine one in the whole 4 episodes. This tape does highlight some important things. The first is that while the mayor did care for Faith and treat her like a daughter, their relationship was still transactional. Instead of offering her some hope or a positive path to progress forward, he insists that her days are numbered, that without him to protect her, she is alone and vulnerable. He even says that even though Faith's life is over, she can go out with a bang. It's contributing to her path of destruction rather than trying to provide a proper life. In an act of revenge against Buffy, he provides her with a device that allows her to swap bodies. She decides to put it to immediate use while confronting Buffy, but first she sets a trap. Perhaps inspired by seeing the mayor again, she goes to Buffy's parental figure, her mom. This is actually her first appearance at the premiere of the season, as Buffy has moved on. Faith comments the same thing, bringing up a stack of mail to be picked up, and drawing connections between both of them being forgotten. Of course, that's a matter of perspective, as Joyce recognizes that Buffy has grown up, and her role will naturally be reduced. Faith, on the other hand, never got that chance, and feels stuck in Buffy's shadow forever. It's clear that Faith still has feelings for Buffy, and she decries how Buffy is a new boy toy, and has moved on from her. Buffy always has impeccable timing though, and manages to leap through a second-story window and tackle Faith, just as she was about to start stabbing. They have a particularly destructive fight, smashing glasses, tables, and doors, but in the end it seems like Buffy is going to win. Before Faith pulls out the trump card and swaps bodies, the cops arrive, Buffy and Faith's body is knocked out, and Faith and Buffy's body proclaims she's 5x5. It's a great episode, although it's more setup than payoff, and that all comes in Who Are You?